Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. This
yeah.
is JVLive. How many times can I say live in one sentence without stopping to take a breath? 3, apparently. So tonight I am joined by the usual 2 Muppets, and we have an extra Muppet for the Muppet lineup. So I'll start with the regulars first. Gords, while we can actually hear you, would you like to say hello to the people at home?
Yes, hello, both people that are watching, and welcome to the show.
Being optimistic, thinking there's 2 people watching, aren't you?
There is. There's Ash and Aaron.
See?
And he can't even see the chat.
And there's 1 viewer as well.
There are people that are as sad as we are.
There's somebody called Ryan Taylor in there as well.
Don't go near him. He's fucking dangerous.
He's very fucking dangerous.
He's a bit weird.
So now that you're actually speaking anyway, Keith, would you like to say your hellos?
Not really.
Good evening, people. Welcome to the show. The chaos is beginning. Don't believe a fucking word you hear tonight.
In fairness, it's only chaos because A, I have no idea what I'm doing. B, I have no plan for what we're doing. And C, I'm not a very good host.
Oh, the last one I can agree with you.
Yeah. So tonight we are as well joined by Martin.
Hi.
So say hello to the 2 people.
Plans are overrated. Turn up. Hi. Aaron, Ashley. There is 1 viewer. Someone's watching and not logged in.
Well, so far in the chat we have
So
me.
there's 3 people. We just don't know
Aaron,
who the other one is.
You, Trevor, and Keith, and Ashley, and 1
Oh
viewer.
yeah, Trevor. Hi, Trevor.
So tonight we're going to discuss a myriad of things that I can't tell you what they are because at this very moment I have no idea. But Aaron did give me a good starting point for the show. Which fictional world would you survive in the longest? Or the least?
The longest.
I've got 1. I know which one we'd all survive the least in. Logan's Run. We'd all be dead.
Not quite yet. My crystal wouldn't have turned black just yet.
Oh, damn. Okay, most of us then.
Interesting point about Logan's Run. Do you know it's one of the only films with a U rating where you get nudity?
Mm.
I didn't know that.
Because Jenny Agutter
Never
gets
occurred to me.
off.
I vaguely remember that film. I remember I enjoyed the film.
I enjoyed it as well, very much so. As a young man, it was a very good film.
Was that
We wonder why. Oh, late 70s. Pre-Star Wars.
Logan's Run was a brilliant film, actually.
Uh-huh.
I just really hope they don't remake it.
No, definitely not remake that.
Well, they've remade fucking hell.
Depends what they were going to do with it, but...
And if they do remake it, it's going to have to be somebody else other
Yeah.
than Jenny Agutter. Don't get me wrong, I love the woman, but she's a bit old now to be doing that sort of scene.
she could... Plus she'd be a corpse to begin with, so, you know, it wouldn't be that much of a good character.
No, definitely not remake Logan's Run. I mean, they could maybe do something with it to... What's the word? You know, when they digitally remaster films.
No! No, they did that to Star Wars and ruined it.
Still keep the film...
Well,
you know, do something with it to improve the quality.
Just leave it as is.
I don't know, the digital remastering of Star Wars was fine. It was the fannying about George Lucas did with it was the problem.
I like the old models. I think the model scenes were better than the digital.
That's a good point. One thing I did notice with the remasterings, the X-Wings looked stubbier than the original. They were like shorter.
They didn't look as quick.
Yeah, definitely.
Keith,
Yes.
fictional world you would not survive long in. Films, video games, books.
I'm thinking Another World, the video game.
Oh God. Yeah.
I wouldn't survive
That or
it.
Flashback, one of the two.
I've actually got that box.
I've got that
And
on
back to
Steam.
that.
I remember playing
I
that
bought
way
that
back in
on
the
Steam
386.
recently. I had the original on the, I think it was the Amiga.
Yeah, I was going to say I had the original on the Amiga.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it came out on
Oh, I
Steam
might have had that.
recently, and I thought, yes, I'm going to get that.
There was Another World, and then what was it? Forgotten? No, it wasn't Forgotten Realms. What was the sequel to
Flashback.
Another World? Another World.
I have no idea.
To Google.
Flashback, I'm sure it was.
I know, and I can't remember.
Indeed. That's what I was about to do.
Yeah, I think it was Flashback.
Or was Another World the sequel to Flashback?
No, that
I
wasn't.
think Another World was the original. I think you're right, Martin. I think Flashback was the sequel.
I'm not sure if it was a sequel. It was definitely by the same studio and the same style. But I can't remember now. Too long ago.
Was there even a sequel to Another World?
I'm sure there was two. There was Another World, and then there was a sequel, or it might have been a prequel. So it might have been one that came afterwards, but
Yeah.
set prior.
Uh-huh.
Can't remember.
Well, it was an awesome game, though, Another World.
A sequel titled Heart of the Alien was developed by Interplay, who I quite like Interplay. Well, I did like Interplay because they don't really exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And released exclusively for the Sega CD.
Yeah, that wasn't it. There was one released on the Amiga. There was a follow-up released on the Amiga, or a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the first truly big games.
Flashback was released by Delphine, but created without any involvement of Chahi. So it's a sort of spiritual sequel, not an actual. Kind of like how BioShock is a spiritual
Not an actual sequel. Yep.
successor or
Sequel to System Shock.
Yeah.
Yep. I love BioShock. Such a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Infinite's quite good as well.
Too
Enjoyed
short. Infinite was just too short. It was a really good
kind
game,
of.
because the story was really developing, and then all of a sudden you were at the end, and it was kind of that last sort of last third of the game was really, I don't know if it felt rushed or
Compressed it far too quickly into a conclusion. I think it would have been good if all the DLC would have worked as well, but it would have felt more fleshed out that way, but the DLC wasn't that interesting. So, yeah.
other than the fact that you got to go
What
back
was
to
it?
Rapture,
I forget the names of them. Yeah.
Burial at Sea,
Yes.
Go on, stick around.
The other one. I can't
Gord,
be bothered looking up Steam.
Yes, Gords.
which fictional world would you last in the least?
Where would I last the least? Probably the Alien. Well,
Yeah.
of aliens, but fuck me, there they are. Where would I last a long time? The 18 world. Anywhere that's going to give me a gas axe and a shitload of stuff, I'm going to be alright with.
And of course, don't forget, as long
I
as
don't know.
as long as you never pick up a gun in the A-team, you never get shot. And even if you do get shot, there's no bullet wounds.
True.
Nobody ever gets killed in the A-Team.
You never run out of bullets either.
That's a good point. It's kind of like what's that one with what's his face on? There's a train and he's on top of the train and his hair doesn't move.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember.
I'd like to visit Smokey and the Bandit.
No, it's Steven Seagal.
Oh,
What?
no idea. Where's the wife going?
It's so fucking many.
The follow-up to the one where Under Siege.
It might be Under Siege. One of the Under Siege films, yeah.
Under Siege on the train.
But there's this bit where he's actually on top of the train, and the train's moving quite quickly, and his hair, it's like he must have been using concrete or something because it just doesn't move while he's fighting somebody on top of the train.
There were so many bad Steven Seagal movies.
I can't think of a good.
Are there any
Seagal
good Steven
movie.
Seagal movies?
Well, it's prolific.
They have comedy value, but
Oh yeah, definitely comedy value.
But then he did pretty much the same as what Jean-Claude Van Damme was doing in the early 90s. Just released like 2 or 3 films a year.
Yeah.
Mediocre at best, and they made money.
Oh yeah, made loads of money.
It's like Tom Cruise with Mission Impossible. They're terrible, terrible films, but they make money.
Yeah, but to be fair,
got the new one of them to watch.
If you sat there on a Friday night and your choice is Dirty Dancing, Factor, or a Steven Seagal film, what are you going to watch?
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, Steven Seagal every time.
You know what I mean?
I would take option 3. I would stare into the corner until it became morning. Or I'd start painting and just watch it dry.
Yeah.
There's always an option. Watch the grass grow.
They do have to play.
Yeah.
They
But
do.
I suppose everything has its place, other than former Disney star films. Because Britney Spears had one, Miley Cyrus had one, and I'm sure a couple of others have had them. And they're all the same film. Let's go on a girly road trip.
In that vein, though, Paris Hilton did a film,
Or sing a bit.
and that is well worth watching.
Which one?
There's nothing more
It's a wax, yeah.
than getting a spear to the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So-
was a worthwhile read for that point alone.
See? Occasionally,
Anyway, Ryan, what fictional world would you survive least in? Or yeah.
BioShock, specifically BioShock 1 or 2, because it's all in a underwater paradise place, which is leaking to fuck anyway, which means I would resort to drink. And to be fair, there is a lot of alcohol around that place. It wouldn't even be the splicers that got me. My liver would just go, no, that's it,
Alcohol poisoning.
we're done. Alright,
Yeah.
what about
Why didn't I pick that one?
Plus, it's a really nice world, and I still, to this day, I will play BioShock, and I will just marvel at the water physics in it, because the water in that game is... It's a sad thing. I should be
And
enjoying
considering
the
it's
game.
near,
Yeah, nearly 10 years old now.
considering it's near 10 years old as well, it's brilliant. Really pretty.
I've not got round to playing Infinite yet.
Infinite is very...
Yeah, I should put some time aside for it.
Infinite's a weird game though, because visually
It's
it's
good.
actually quite bright, but then thematically it's really, really quite dark.
Uh-huh.
So you got this really nice juxtaposition of the beautifulness of Colombia mixed with the darkness of the story, and it is a good story, and a lot of people do insult the story for it, but I actually think it was a pretty decent story. I don't think it's as good as Would You Kindly, but you can't pull that story off twice.
Yeah.
And if anybody doesn't know the Would You Kindly thing, you need to go out and play Bioshock, because it's nearly 10 years old and I'm not avoiding spoilers now.
You've had your chance.
You get 12 months. Once a game's been out for 12 months, that's it. Spoilers don't need a warning.
Yeah.
So, which world do you guys think you would last in the longest?
I don't know. I'd go with something apocalypsy, walking zombie apocalypsy, because I have my zombie preparation plans already made. They are effective, and I will survive.
I already
So
have a
I'd go with
compound
Walking Dead.
picked out.
That'd be fine.
I have my compound picked out. There's a garage in there. There's a fabrications workshop in there. It's all gated and they got quite high walls and everything. It's all pretty sturdy buildings. It's all up here.
To be fair, you're not doing anything clever. The Pentagon has.
Well, that's...
Yeah, but the Pentagon have got plans for lots of things. They had a plan in case George Bush became president and they never used it.
They failed.
That's unfortunate.
No, they just need to get a better sniper, I think.
The world I'd survive in the longest, I think, would be The Last of Us.
I've not actually played that. Don't know that one.
PS.
It's a PlayStation exclusive, developed by Naughty Dog Studios, who you might know as the makers of Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in fact, they play pretty similar. Start at one point, go to the end point.
Aaron
But
agrees.
it has got a pretty decent story, actually.
It's got a very, very good story, in my opinion.
And yet again, the game is over a year old. I don't care if it's just been re-released for next-gen console. Doesn't matter. It was already released. The story's the same. Spoilers are fine.
Spoilers. Tough. See, that's Aaron. He's on the same league as us there. That's Zombie Apocalypse. That'll do nicely. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Gords, where would you last?
But that's one of the advantages of living in the island.
That's the longest. Like I said before, 18.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he already said. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you did, yeah.
That sort of an area. Somewhere I can tinker with cars, because that is my home place.
Right, well, when the zombie apocalypse happens, if you want to haul ass down here, I got an entire garage set up with lifts and everything that you can play around into your heart's content. All I need is a Toyota Hilux put with an extra bit of bodywork on the outside, preferably sharp blades.
You have seen what my personal car is, haven't you?
No, what are you driving?
So I got a Land Cruiser with winches and snorkels and that big 4.2 turbo diesel straight six.
That's very nice.
It's pretty much a go anywhere, do anything car.
I'm sure Keith's.
Yeah, yeah.
I've not been snidey with pictures. They have been about, but I might not put any in Just Vapes. But I'll shove some in Just Vapes social. It's ideal as a run around. Honestly.
Aaron says, so Gords, the world of Mad Max would suit you fine then.
Yes. Mad Max. All the Mad Max.
I actually, when I was little, I actually wanted the Interceptor. In fact, I still want an Interceptor now. It's just, I'd rather have a Hilux.
Yeah. I think the new version of the Interceptor is nicer, right enough.
The Interceptor did have the supercharger connected, unlike the films. And if you watch Mad Max Road Fury, that one does have the supercharger connected as well. It doesn't last very long, but it does have it.
For me, I think where I'd actually last the longest would actually be one of the Fallout settings, because I know the map, I know where the Cazadors are, I know where the Deathclaws are, and I know how to run. And I quite like baseball bats and 308s.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. 308's a good, sturdy, everyday rifle, man.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good stopping power against the man.
So
It's
been
great.
able to shoot one of them once. It's really good fun.
It's good, good for hunting, good for stopping for home defense. It's a good all-round weapon. So those are our picks for where we would survive the least and where we would survive the longest. Anybody from chat got anything to say? Ash says, if Gords can survive living in Wigan, he'll survive anything.
Thank you, Ash.
Makes a lot of sense.
Wigan's going to actually see a very, very angry Gords tomorrow. I do have to say.
Aaron says, Ryan, I think it's best if you didn't live in Megaton. Just saying.
He's a blower-upper.
Actually, I really would prefer to blow it up, but because when you fast travel to Tenpenny Tower, you got to go through like 3 loading screens to actually get into your house. But when you travel back to Megaton, you've only got to go through 1 loading screen, because you load up in Megaton, then you just go into the house.
Yes.
Interesting fact about the Fallout. Saying, did you save Megaton or did you set the bomb off? Quite a few vapors responded. Because every single one of us did do a playthrough where we put Megaton.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got to be done.
Just to see the cloud.
It's got to be. I'm not being funny though. All right. Fallout 3. A lot of the textures, when you're actually up close to them, do look junky shit. They're terrible.
But give it credit. It came out nearly 10 years ago.
No. But it's also a massive game.
Yeah.
So to have high-res textures, it would have had to be on about 20 different DVDs. Even 1 Blu-ray wouldn't have been able to do it. In all fairness, it never worked on the PlayStation anyway.
It takes you nearly an hour to walk from one side of the map to the other in real time.
Yep.
You know, and generally it takes you 4 hours because you get distracted halfway across. So, you know what I mean?
Get this off his... yeah.
Credit where it's due. You find something every 5 minutes or so.
Do you know, it actually took me about an hour into playing the game before, like actually out in the wasteland playing the game, not the bit in Vault 101. But to realise on the compass, when you get the little triangle and it's empty, it means that it's a place that you've not discovered is in that direction. And ever since I discovered that, I'd be walking along, going on a mission, and I was just planning on doing the entire main quest, getting it out of the way, and but no, I got distracted, and I was only like level 5 when I started getting distracted. By the time I realised I hadn't got on with the main quest, I was level 20, And
Yeah.
then and I was like, ah, shit.
I'm actually playing through it again.